Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be chapter 3 of my Beyonce experience. So welcome to the golden era of the Cowboy Carter, celebrating the closing almost midway of the Cowboy Carter experience. Before you know it, Beyonce will be closing off the Cowboy Carter experience starting next week. Now, one thing I'm going to appreciate this year is I got the honor to meet the Queen herself on the Cowboy Carter tour, which I will definitely talk about a small segment of that when I cover my podcast. Now, like I said before, Michael Jackson and Beyonce has so much in common. It's not always about the sales, it's about who they grew up and gravitated towards. It could be their legendary peers or even people that came before them. I always said that, and I'm gonna say this again. Michael Jackson left one hell of a student. Beyonce created these different, I would say, universes, dimensions that are being in full effect, with the start of the 3-part trilogy project. We got to see Beyonce really put out more body of work that we haven't seen before. A lot of people, going back to 2013, a lot of people did not understand what Beyonce was doing at that time when she released Self-Titled. But looking flash forward now, almost 11 or 12 years in the future, Beyonce still redefined what it means to be a pop artist, and this is why she got the title of the greatest artist of the 21st century. The golden era of her career is definitely, I would say, Cowboy Carter. After long waited press, Beyonce have finally won the coveted album of the year. And to be honest, and I'm gonna say this, I'm glad Cowboy Carter was the album to get album of the year, because when you look back on the different color of ensembles of this album, the history lesson, I felt like Lemonade birthed Cowboy Carter, because remember, originally Cowboy Carter should have been the 7th studio album, whereas Renaissance would have been the 8th studio album. Right now, she is currently on her 8th studio album, which is Cowboy Carter. She is still going on tour currently. She's wrapping up the Atlanta leg of the Cowboy Carter within today. And by this week or next week or so, she will be filming, if I'm not mistaken. While she's doing all that, we might get a whole film, which I am planning to go see the Cowboy Carter film, even though I went to see her twice for the tour. That was a makeup date for me to cover Renaissance, because I missed the Renaissance. But Beyonce have done so much good by me. This woman cannot do any wrong in my eyes. So this first chapter is the introduction to the the golden era, and I love how she did something very similar to Cowboy Carter, where she created this alternate golden coveted realm where Renaissance was all silver chrome. She brought back the Renaissance in a different way, and she gave us something that is gonna last for a long time. Like, this album itself is gonna be something that is years to talk about. Now, mind you, I've been collecting the vinyls. Started off with Renaissance, then I picked up the Cowboy Carter exclusive cover, and then I went with the official Cowboy Carter with the Chardonnay horse, because each of the horse has names. And Beyonce is planning something massive. A lot of people have been saying that she might retire in the next act after that, but I think Beyonce said it most. She's been working so hard, and you could even see that in the tour where there's a segment in the tour where she showed montage of her entire career. We literally grew up with Beyonce, and to see what she has brought in into the music industry, it's very astounding. I feel as if what she has done for culture and what she has done for the people that's coming after her is monumentally beautiful. Like I said, what I really appreciate about the whole album, as well as the tour itself, is the very golden coveted, indicating that this album is something very special, and that at first it wasn't received the way it should, because it literally, it's like Beyonce now got the keys to the city. That was the energy that she got when she did this album. You could feel it through the performance. I feel like she loved Cowboy Carter more, due to the fact it should have been the first act, and due to COVID, we would have not know how to receive this album. So lucky for us that she switched it around, but at the same time I felt like it was so enjoyable. I felt like I enjoyed myself so much, being my first concert, and it will not be the last. I'm very honored, and I thank God each and every day I got the privilege to even do something like that. Not a lot of people could go on tours and go see their favorite artists, and I always say people that hang on. God is someone that is amazing. When you wait long enough, you will get exactly what you prayed for. And I believe that our Creator allows us to create spaces where we inhabit our dreams, and our dreams will become real if we just believe and faith. Like I said, this was an amazing experience for me, and that I would never trade that for anything. This piece of this album is such a masterpiece, and that the way it handled itself throughout the start and almost finish of the tour. Yes, there were small mishaps, little malfunctions here and there, but the composure that Beyonce shown throughout the tour, and how she composed herself as an artist of that caliber, it needs to be studied. It needs to be studied. And like I said, all of those golden coveted items are part of her memory. Like the golden parts of the tour, from the car set to the items to her sitting on Chardonnay, the wonderful horse that is the echoes of America. These are things that she put into gold sashes, right? And if you can even think of it, when she performed at the 50th Super Bowl, when she had the Michael Jackson inspired clothes, this also reminds me that she was thinking of something more in the future with black and gold. You could even think that Cowboy Carter is a mixture of black and gold and the patriotic cover of the album. The small Cadillac where she flies around with 16 carriages. This is just amazing. Everything about this tour there's nothing I can't remove from this tour that I did not like or like. Like, there's so much good things that happen. It outweighs the smaller parts. Like I said, Beyonce is an artist that I grew up with, and it was cool to see that at that time when Michael Jackson was still alive, she did so much good by him. When a bigger artist see your potential, and that they manage to gravitate towards your essence as a upcoming artist, it's amazing to see all the people that was in the industry that are no longer with us. God bless their souls, that they kind of like betted on her, and they were right. She's an amazing artist, and that I wish people could go see her or listen to her catalog and understand that it doesn't matter of your gender, this person is amazing. And I would not trade that for anything else. I'm always saying this. I'm a fan of music first. Artists that are able to put their heart and soul into their craft, that is a powerful artist. And like, to see what she has done for this genre of music, especially country, she if you're a person, you made the word better than you left it, you are should a person that should be commended. She uplifted country to the point where country is now to the popularity of people that were able to, buy Western wear, as well as the marketing of this album is such a genius. Places that you would have never expect that needed certain things got so many boom sales from just one person. And the atmosphere of positivity that this person brings is beautiful. It's just beautiful. And I'm not the biggest fan of Taylor Swift, but I'm also not a hypocrite. I appreciate what she has done for her Eras tour, right? It's the highest grossing tour, like it's in the billions. But you could see, like, people that is her fans see something in her that others don't, right? And flash forward to 16 Carriages, all of these different prediction of the interludes that Beyonce were doing at this tour. And then at the last minute, I think Atlanta got their first version of 16 Carriages, but this time the magnificent Chardonnay has finally appeared. Now, this Chardonnay is probably out of the 12 or 16 different parts of Chardonnay, and this one has like Cadillac rims as its shoulder pads or something. It's freaking cool, because the first time we saw that horse, the first version of it was sitting down and Beyonce was standing on it with the robotic Cowboy Carter intro for Renaissance. Flash forward now, she's actually flying over it with the 16 carriage song. And I love that she enjoyed herself singing these songs. My favorite is when she goes on a kind of a loop. When she closes off with Amen, it just feels so good. I don't know why. Like when Amen close and you see that gigantic Statue of Liberty that represent history, and that it shatters itself from green to gold, almost indicating that we're in the golden age of her life. And then as she transitioned into Act 3, hopefully we might get like a bronze version of something. This is gonna be crazy to see how Act 3 is gonna be. But like I said, guys, Eccoville is a true thing, and that Echoes of America is something that, as she is closing out this tour, mind you, she still have Las Vegas to go to, and all I could say is I think her and Lady Gaga has something very special for the fans over there. I think that this tour was such a history lessons, and that this is just a big recap of the entire experience that I've been covering. Mind you, I've been covering the Beyonce experience since April 28th, 2025. So it's so cool to just cover every single thing about this thing leading up to me going to the tour itself. And now I'm literally closing out one of my best experience of my life this year, to see Beyonce do what she do best. And I'm just honored to be in a position that I'm able to see probably one of the greatest artists of my generation do what she do best. And on top of that, what's cool is that you could see the flags are being closed out. There's only 4 more shows left, and she already finishing up with Atlanta today. So 2 more shows, and then boom, Beyonce will be officially closing on the greatest start of the part of her career, which is counted as the golden age, because I think this album holds a special place in her heart. This was like a childhood memory vision in her mind of her growing up in the southern country. That was a beautiful album, start to finish. Like American Requiem, it just stuck in my head so much, and then closing out with Amen as a loop, it just feels so good inside. Like I just don't know how to express it. But like I said, Echoes of Echoville is part of the America's Echoes of Legendary. And all of the people she referenced, like she says, we are the visuals to her life, and we take those in with pictures and everything. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video.